Welcome to episode 7. So far we've talked about a few things. I'm just going to recap them here. So we talked about doing some basic education if you haven't already. And we've talked about further education, principally meaning me and my partner Lewis at Mayfair. It's very important that you do the basics before coming on to further education. Once you understand everything everyone's talking about, it's a great deal easier to follow along. We talked about bias, which is very important because it takes away 50% of the worry. And we talked about inversions, which are areas where the bias seems to change. We talked about the volume tool, which gives you clues as to where things are going. Price is attracted to volume. We talked about changing character, the CHOCH. Now, all these things are all well and good, and I've shown you how they can all get into the same place and be very useful. Let's move on a bit from now. So there are lots of different ideas. People are always putting ideas up there, and I'm going to go out there on a limb and say most of them are probably good ones, that if you have the mental strength, they will be good. The trouble is, if you try someone's idea in a real market and you lose money, you get put off. But the whole point of trading is, it's over time will you lose money. And lots of people don't realize that all strategies lose money sometimes, and you need mental strength to get through those times. Because you could sit there and lose 4 or 5 in a row and then suddenly get an R of 5 or 6 and get all the money back, and all of a sudden your whole view changes. However, if you've given up after 3, perhaps you will never follow that strategy. So mental discipline is way more important than anything else. So how do we get the mental discipline? Well, a lot of it is about confidence. If you're confident that the strategy works, then the mental discipline part is easier. And the way to do that is to back test. And there's a whole load of stuff about back testing that I'm just going to flick through here. So the point of back testing is to give you confidence for the bad times, because because you've back tested, that the bad times don't last and the good times are better than the bad times. So start with a strategy. You can create your own, you can just look on the internet and try anything you see, because as I've said before, a lot of them will work as long as you have the right attitude and the right mental fortitude. So write down the definition so that you're never in any doubt that you would or would not take the trade. You know where your stop loss would be, you know where your TP would be. Journal every single time you do it. You don't have to do the full journal, but write down the date, write down the reasons you took the trade, the results, and also write down if you broke the rules of the back test, because if you did, it doesn't count. If you would have been asleep, don't take the trade, because after all, that can't be part of your back test. So for example, if you're testing a foreign exchange pair and it's busy, like say Australian dollar versus Japanese yen, that's busy whilst you're asleep because you're in the Western world, then you shouldn't be trading when you would be asleep, because you're only going to be trading when you're awake. Should go without saying, but here you are. It's easy to do in back testing. You don't even notice what time it is. Keep the score. So here's a typical one, lose a couple, win a couple, break even on a couple, lose loads, win a couple of big ones. In this case, you'd be up 8% over the whole period of the back test, and the biggest drawdown would be 4% down at some stage. Now, if all this stuff sounds a bit time consuming, that's because it is. And it's also essential, because after all, what we're trying to do here is build your confidence. And if you have no confidence in your strategy, and actually deep down you haven't proved to yourself that it's good, then it's pointless. So you do have to put the time in, and you do have to consider, what if this strategy doesn't work? There's no point fiddling around and trying to make it work if it doesn't work. Obviously you could make changes, but then you must retest again. You can't change halfway through a back test. You've written it down, you do it. Now, obviously there's a lot of time to put into this, and if you're not prepared to put the time in, then don't bother. Just walk away now and don't do this. Right, so we've started to backtest, we've gained confidence because however we found a strategy, we've certainly found one, we've backtested it, following all the rules, making sure we didn't cheat because that's counterproductive, and we found something that doesn't give us too much drawdown, doesn't hurt us too much. The mental strength is now there because we know that over time this makes money. What do we do next? Well, this is kind of the whole point of the course. You forward test using a small prop account because this throws you in at the deep end, gives you the extra strength you need, because you will see a fluctuating real P&L and you might well lose the $100. So it actually means something. I mean, if you're a millionaire, perhaps it doesn't, but it means something, and you have your pride and you want to convert the account. And so all the stresses and strains that would be there are there. Right, so it seems to me you've gone from knowing nothing about prop trading to testing your back-tested strategy in a forward test on a prop trading account. So I think job is kind of done. We've got one part to go. See you in the next episode.